Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. In tonight's video, I'm going to be doing a side-by-side comparison of the Polish Beryl optics rail. This one being Picatinny and this one being a Weaver mount. Any of you guys that didn't know, this is the optics rail that is used exclusively on the FB Radom Polish Beryl, though the WBP Polish AK variant also has the options to mount this. And what makes this different from or why I should say maybe more so, why does it make it exclusive to the Polish Beryl? That is simply because, pull it out here, you have to have special provisions in order to mount this on. And with the Beryl, you see these grooves or channels that are cut into the side of the front trunnion, and then you have this block back here that attaches to the rear trunnion. And that is simply how this attaches. You have these grooves here. You got this fitting in the back, slides into the grooves, comes down onto that pylon there, a notch, whatever you want to call it, and then it locks down. So that's why it can only be used on Beryls or WBP rifles, or maybe even a home built rifle that's got those provisions for it. So this is Picatinny, this mill standard 1913 Picatinny, obviously more widely used worldwide. The Weaver version was the previous generation of this, using the Weaver footprint. So let's talk about some of the differences between them. So as you can see here, side by side, the Weaver rail sits quite a bit thinner, or I should say shorter, and not as tall as the Picatinny version. I think I measured from the deck height of this flange right here to the bottom of the rail where your optic's going to sit, measures about 0.255. And the Picatinny version at the same height from here to the bottom of the Picatinny section, that's going to be it's like 0.435 or something to that effect, quite a bit taller. Let's talk about some of the pros and cons of that. So when you have this mounted up, being that this sits so tall, and even when you put an optic on top of it, such as this EOTech or any option you want to put on there, you can see under the optic through this channel and still utilize your iron sights. With the Weaver version, you cannot do that. You can't see them. So on top of that, also, the Weaver footprint is not... it's obviously being in a little bit of an outdated design. You're going to be limited on the mounts that you can use on this. If you have a single cross bolt, something like this EOTech here and a lot of red dot mounts, if it's just a single cross bolt, you're going to have no problem. You can mount this thing up in any of these slots that you have here. But if you have an optic that has dual cross bolts or more than just one, chances are it's not going to line up in the notches on the Weaver rail. So that's one of the downsides there. If you have scope rings, two-piece scope rings, that would work also. The weight on these weigh exactly the same. I'll pull up my scale here. We'll do the Weaver first. You see there it weighs 11.1 ounces. And the Picatinny version, exactly the same, 11.1 ounces. And while the Picatinny version is definitely chonkier, you see more metal here on the rail itself. You see it does have these lightning cuts in there, so that's probably what saves the weight. Other than that, I mean, these things look almost exactly the same. The bases are probably exactly the same, carried over from the previous design. The way they clamp down, everything's the same. So as long as you have a Beryl or an AK that's got the grooves cut in the front of the front trunnion and then having the piece in the back, you'll be able to mount these up. Where are some of the other differences? Price is going to be a big difference. So being that this is the newer version, in this version here being a bit outdated, not used anymore, I think these make these a little bit more rare. It seems to be a lot of the parts for the Polish Beryl are very hard to come by. They come in small batches and they sell it very, very quick. This one here on Arms of America, you can pick it up for $190. This one here I ordered on eBay from a seller that sends stuff directly over from Poland, and this actually ended up costing me like $280, so quite a bit more money. Really wasn't sure which one I wanted to go with. I know I was definitely going to mount an EOTech on there, so having a single cross bolt, it wasn't going to be a problem. But I did have concerns about how high the cheek weld's going to be, and I'm gonna kind of highlight that for you here in a little bit and show you the differences between the two. But just really quick, for anybody that doesn't know, I'll show you how this mounts up. You see here, it's got these tangs here. You slide them up into the grooves. You push it on until it pops off, pops on, and then this lever locks on. So as you can see, the deck height of where your optic's gonna sit, especially in comparison when you have a stock on an AK that's got a straight back comb, there is gonna definitely be height over bore. So I'm gonna go ahead and attach this optic on finger tight so you can really get an idea of how high this optic is gonna sit on this rail. See, very, very, very high height over bore, and especially in relation to the cheek weld. As you can imagine, you try to get your cheek here and how high the optic is. You know, it definitely depends on your physiology, but you don't get cheek weld. For me, I get chin hair weld, trying to use this with this buttstock along with the Picatinny mount. It's very uncomfortable. I don't know if that's the right word, especially because the corner of my jaw is right on this metal piece right here, and it's not comfortable at all. I haven't even shot this thing with this setup yet, so but I imagine on the recoil, it's not going to feel too great at all. So one of the things that you can do to get around that is to get one of these pot arms cheek risers. Simply slides on here into the groove, which you now get your cheek weld in a more comfortable position. It's more heads up. You can actually get cheek weld on it. The downside to using the pot arms is that once this is installed, you can no longer see underneath the channel through here to look at your iron sights. So it's going to be kind of give or take there. With the weaver rail, when you have the weaver rail mounted, it sits much lower. It's chin weld. It's doable. It's definitely it's more than chin hair weld like you get with using the Picatinny, but it's still not great, but it's definitely doable. But then you can't see your iron sights. So for me, definitely got to use the pot arms with the Picatinny, but then I still can't use my iron sights. So I don't know. I guess it's kind of give and take depending on which one that you want to go through. Or go with. All right. So now here I want to show you what chin weld looks like with the Picatinny riser or optics mount without having the pot arms cheek riser on here. So with this EOTech, and I center the reticle in the glass, in the viewing glass, this is what I get. And like I mentioned before, the corner of my jaw is digging in here. I think I mentioned that it was metal, but it's plastic, but it's still hard. Not very good at all. I do also want to show here the channel. If you look underneath the optic right here, if I can capture this on camera, this is how you can use your iron sights underneath the Picatinny version only. But again, not great. You can get a little bit lower on it. If you lower the reticle on the viewing glass, like right to the bottom of the edge, you can get a little bit better chin weld. And then you can also still use your iron sights underneath the optic. All right, so now I have the pot arms cheek riser on here, and especially when used with the Picatinny mount, you're getting decent chin weld. Something definitely more appropriate. But like I mentioned, now you can't get your face low enough. The only way I could do this is if I were to look it through it like this. So that's the downside. Again, Picatinny version can use your iron sights, but in order to, when using the Picatinny version, you get such horrible cheek weld, or you just get chin hair weld, that you have to use the pot arms cheek riser, but then you can no longer use your iron sights. So let me show you what this looks like with the weaver rail attached. Again, you know how it sits off the optic. So before I put the optic on there, just give you a shot of the weaver version, what it looks like with no optic. And now here it is with the EOTech mounted on there, getting a bit lower. So now I'll say this. So with the pot arms on here, with this, because it does sit quite a bit lower, like 200 thousandths lower, When you center up the glass, you get like cheek smush. It feels like it's way too much. You can, in the opposite version of like Picatinny, where if you're not using the pod arms mount, you can float the reticle towards the bottom of the glass. With the pod arms mount, you can float it to the top of the glass. And since EOTech is basically at zero parallax, you don't have to worry about parallax error. But if you're going to use the pod arms mount with this, pod arms cheek riser, it's really more comfortable floating it to the top of the glass. Again, that is with my body and bone structure. All right, so now I've taken the pod arms cheek riser off of it to kind of highlight what cheek weld looks like, chin weld looks like without the riser and with the weaver rail. Definitely noticeably lower, but centering the reticle in the glass, this is about what you end up with. Again, you get a little bit more comfortable getting a little bit lower. Your jaw is still running into the buttstock here on the bony part, at least on my face, but it's not so much at the point of my jaw where it feels like a pressure point, and it's more spread out across the length of it. I feel like this could be doable if I didn't already have the pod riser, but you know, with this, you cannot use the iron sights underneath the optic. They're just not visible. So that's about it what I got for this video. Hopefully it'll help somebody out there if they're looking to, they're trying to decide between getting the weaver rail or the Picatinny, if you can get your hands on one. I'm still not sure which one I'm going to go with yet. This will probably be the last series of videos I have on the Beryl, with exception to once I get my Sam 7K. I'm sure I'll do at least a short, if not a little video, kind of comparing the difference between shooting a full rifle length 16-inch AK against a little Sam 7K that has almost literally half the length of the barrel, being an 8.3. So hope it helps some of you guys out. Definitely appreciate the views and the feedbacks and the comments I've been getting, along with the new subscribers. So if you like the video, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification so you get notices when I make new videos, and share it with anybody out there. And you know, a lot of these Beryls are definitely becoming a lot more and more popular. So definitely could be useful for somebody out there. Appreciate it. See you in the next one.